Hey, baby, Chris Keaton here, and I want to welcome you to Random Acts. Hey, so, if you follow me on social media, particularly on Facebook at Keaton, facebook.com/Keaton Music, or it may be Chris Keaton Music. I don't even know, but it doesn't matter. You can find me. Trust me, I'm everywhere. So I've got these T-shirts, and they're called #I'mWithChiss that you could purchase. Now, this is not a sales pitch. This is just to kind of explain the story, the Chiss moment. So about 10 or so years ago, I had the opportunity to executive produce a record by a kid, not a record, but a CD, by a very talented kid named Preston Leatherman. And it was great. I mean, we did all these songs. It was really just beautifully done. It was a fold-out cover. It was really cool. We went over everything with like a fine-tooth comb, meticulously making sure that everything was right. So we went ahead and we ordered like 10,000 CDs. We waited. They showed up. The day they showed up, we opened up the box. Everybody's really excited. We're all in there together. And one of the guys gets a shrink wrap off a CD and opens it up and is looking at it. He goes, uh-oh. And I'm like, what? And he says, it says executive producer Chiss Keaton. Yeah, they left the R out of my name. Well, all I could do was laugh about it because what are you going to do? It's just like one of those things. So from then on, it became the Chiss moment. And then I thought, like a year ago, I thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool to have some #I'mWithChiss T-shirts? So they're out there. And I promise on one of these shows, I'm going to wear my T-shirt which says #Chiss. But that's the Chiss moment. And here's the lesson from the Chiss moment. Shit like that's going to happen. Little bitty things. You can make them big things if you want, but at the end of the day, it's just something small. And then you might be able to turn it into a story that 10 years later, you can tell on your own podcast. How cool is that? All right, listen, let me tell you what else we got coming today. My buddy Cale Dodds is coming on in just a minute. You're going to love this guy, and if you don't, just pretend that you do. All right, hang on. Cale is next. Hey, and let me tell you what, this show, I told you it was going to be special, but I got one of my best friends on the whole planet. He doesn't know he's my best friend yet, but he's a great artist, an even better human being, and the dude is so good looking that if I had a top 10 list of guys, he'd be on there, I'm telling you. Ladies and gentlemen, meet my friend Cale Dodds. Hey, baby.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
Better now. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, but just to get things started off in the direction we need to go, I've now got mic envy. Your mic is bigger, man. What's up with that?
Wow, it's not about the size of the mic, it's the quality of the mic. So yours sounds way better than mine. But that's experience and age, and I'm learning.
Okay. All right. We'll not go down that rabbit hole anymore. So
What?
So, dude, you and I have known each other for a while.
Yeah.
I know you as a singer-songwriter, an excellent entertainer, and you've got great social media skills. So tell me what you're doing on a day-to-day basis right now.
Right now, I am first of all, great intro. Thank you so much. Honored. I need that hype up every morning. If I could get that every morning, it'd be great. What am I doing right now? So I'm in a season of life right now where my momentum is in songwriting, which has been great. And it's been a lot of fun. I've been working hard on my writing for myself, writing for other artists, writing for film and TV projects. It's been a whirlwind. COVID, kind of parked the buses for everybody. I was touring hard all the way up until COVID. And then once the world kind of shut down, the buses parked. I my momentum shifted to writing, and that's where I'm at, and it's been good. Been dabbling with a handful of different things, but lucky to wake up and do what we do every day. And every day is different, but it's good. I'm in a good place. No
That's
complaints.
that's beautiful. So you get to essentially be creative all the time, right?
I just put puzzles together with my friends every day is how I look at it, and make things rhyme. That's the short version of it. But yeah, it's being a creative. It's a double-edged sword because there's no one really giving you direction, but you also getting to do what you love and what you want to do every day. So it has its victories, its little victories along the way.
Sweet. So now you grew up in Georgia, right?
I did right below Atlanta in Columbus, Georgia. Baptized in the Chattahoochee River. So that's a redneck by default. Proud of it.
Well, I mean, why not be proud of it? I mean, that's
Yeah.
it's who you are, and you know, again, I mean, I'm like being a fanboy now because I'm a big fan of yours, but I'm also the reason I'm a big fan is because I've known you for a really long time. I knew you when you first came to Nashville. I've
Yeah.
seen you go through all kinds of iterations creatively, but you've always been Cale, and you've always had
Mm.
that thing going in the face of the ever-changing business, the buses parking, COVID hitting, having a record deal, not having a record deal. What motivates you every day?
Well, I typically start my mornings off with some light reading. And if you're not familiar with it, it's the thing. I go out to that porch right there. I sit in that chair right there, and I sip and watch the same coffee mug every day for superstition. And I read one page of this every day. If I could just hit an excerpt real quick.
Please do.
It's one that reminds me of you the most.
One second. Who's the author of that? Just
Oh, it's a fantastic author. His name's Chris Keaton. It's a guide to gaining and maintaining confidence on the fly. It's fantastic. I don't want to brag. I have a personalized signed copy. Not a big deal, but you can't get that on Amazon. But confidence is knowing you have to be a friend in order to make a friend. That's the thing that makes me think about Chris Keaton the most, because he is a friend and he sends me motivational things often, which like we were talking about earlier. Back to your question, you were talking about what keeps you going, what motivates you. We make the joke about every day in the music business, we wake up to climb the mountain of defeat every day. And I think it's about remembering the true north, and I think it's about surrounding yourself with your tribe, having your people that knowing you're having those days, and knowing that they also have those days, and you can share that together, and remind you why we do it. I mean, I heard someone say the other day I was having a kind of one of those days where it's like the day before it felt awesome. I found out I had something that was going to be on a TV show. I got a hold by one of my most influential artists of all time. And great things were happening. And the next day I was just questioning everything because a ton of stuff was falling apart. And my friend, one of my good friends told me, he said, just remember, your worst day in Nashville, doing what you're doing, living your dream, writing songs, being an artist, being a creative, your worst day is still living somebody else's dream. And I know it sounds cliched, I know it sounds small, but when he said that, I was like, man, what perspective? Because there's been plenty of days that I wish I was doing what I was doing today, even on the worst day. So I think it's taken that mental shift and that perspective to go back to, the young kid that was growing up in Georgia, wishing he was in Nashville writing songs and playing shows and being around all the people that I'm around now and guys like yourself. I was just dreaming of those days. So that's my personal recipe. It doesn't always work, but usually it gets me out the door, at least before I break down in my car on the way to the right. So
well, dude, I got to
that's
tell
usually
you.
when I call you.
No, I got to tell you, I love that so much. And just a couple of days ago, you and I were able to sit in person with your songwriting partner, Justin Halpin. And
Yeah, shout out Justin.
And I want you to talk about the duo that you guys have. But before you do that, I want to share with everybody here that Justin said you two guys have a mantra, a little motto, and it's really great. Do you mind if I share it?
Please do.
Their mantra is, "We decide. Every day, no matter what's going on, they go, we decide. Now, to me, what that means is you either decide to be happy, you decide to not be happy, you decide that the sun is shining, or you decide that sun is still shining, it's just on the other side of the clouds. But I think that's really great inspirational stuff. Now, tell me a little bit about First Time Thieves. Come on.
Yeah, First Time Thieves. Well put, by the way. Justin is also one of those main guys for me, just like yourself, where, he'll have a day, I'll have a day, and sometimes it's at the same time, but we have to remind each other that we decide. And part of that came from First Time Thieves, which is a project that me and Justin started because we write so much together. We started writing together during COVID, and we were writing a bunch, and we just realized that, man, he's like he came from the film and TV world of sync, having success there, and he also wrote country songs, but he was having success here. And mine was kind of opposite. I was having success in the country world, but I was dabbling in the sync. It was sync, but I didn't have enough people to write enough sync with all the time. I was surrounded by primarily people in the country world, and we kind of just linked up together, and it was a yin and yang situation where we both just kind of brought each other into each other's communities and circle of friends, which is hilarious because we come to find out, like, had a lot of the same friends and lived in Nashville almost the same amount of time, but never met until COVID on Zoom like this, which is really funny. But he's, other than becoming one of my best friends and writing duo partners, we started this project called First Time Thieves, which it is primarily driven towards music we create. It's not country. It's created. It's up. It's big. It's anthemic. It's very much film and TV driven in regards to we try to give different looks. He's got this big baritone soul singing voice, and he'll sing a verse. We'll both sing a chorus, and I do this like fun b-boy hype thing in the second verse, and that's kind of the formula we stick to. We don't stick to it primarily, but we kind of look at it as like, you're doing what verse, I'm doing that verse. All right. But like the song we did yesterday is a great example with our buddy Brian Dolly. We did a song where I'm singing both of the verses and he's singing the chorus. So we just try to serve the song, and it's a great creative outlet for both of us because we write all the time, but we both write country so much, which is great, and that's our focus. But this is a different outlet, and iron sharpens iron, and it allows us to do something that we can never do in country. It allows us to make collaborations happen that would never happen in country, and it's allowed us to have stuff on television shows, on ESPN. We've had a handful of things. We have a handful of things that are coming out that I'm excited about. And it's new. We've been working on it for about 2 years, but the project itself is new to the world. We've only been releasing music for, 4 or 5 months. So it's been fun, but it's a challenge in a good way, and it allows us to do things, like I said, that our normal day doesn't look like on Music Row. So it's fun.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. So I just want to tell everybody listening and watching, Spotify, Apple Music, look up First Time Thieves. You will not be disappointed. Trust me on this. Cale, before I send you packing, please tell people where they can find you on social media.
So I'm just at Cale Dodds, CaleDodds on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all of it. I've got CaleDodds.com. First Time Thieves, everything is just at First Time Thieves. And I've got new music I've been releasing, and excited for that. I've got new music coming in October. First Time Thieves has another single coming in October, as well as a couple surprises that we're excited about with my project and that. I'm grateful. So check it all out. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for having me on. You were one of my first friends in town, one of my first people to really give me true feedback and true encouragement before I even actually moved into town. So, and you've been the same guy through and through. So I'm grateful for you. The world needs Chris Keaton. The world needs this kind of confidence out there. Get it now. It's fantastic. Look at that collar popped. It's a beautiful man. Let's go.
Dude, your check is in the mail. One thing I did forget, and I can't forget this, though. I heard a rumor this week that they're naming a galaxy after you. Is that right?
Yeah, Orion's belt.
Cale Dodds, thank you, man. I love you. Thank you so much.
I love you, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on. And please tell Gina I said hello.
I'll do it, buddy. Thank you. Want to thank my buddy Cale Dodds for being on here. He is just such a class act. And again, First Time Thieves, check him out. Cale Dodds on all the socials. Follow him. Trust me, he's really funny. He's really entertaining. You're going to love him. Okay, so I got one more story. Now, you may be able to see this right here. So underneath this patch, I have 6 stitches in my hand. Yeah. But I got to tell you the story because it's really just too good. And it's too good because I can't make this shit up. I'm telling you the truth. So I was in Chicago with my wife. We're visiting our daughter. So my daughter gives me this wonderful bottle of wine, and I've got it in a gift bag. And my wife and I get in the Uber. We go back to the hotel. Getting out of the Uber, I step out of the car. I'm holding the bottle in the bag. I step onto the street, not thinking that the curb is behind me. Turn to help my wife get out of the car, and my forward motion is knocking me over the curb. Well, yeah, I fell. Wine bottle bursts. My hand goes down on it. My wife says, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. She's like, "No, you're not." Big gash right here. So she keeps my arm up. We wrap something around it. We go into the hotel. My wife is yelling. The place is packed. My wife is yelling, somebody help me. The bartender who recognized us immediately called the security guards, 2 of them. They ushered me into the men's room so I could start cleaning it off. And the bartender is outside, keeping my wife calm and everything. So these guys get it cleaned up. Well, it turns out they're both EMTs. So they knew what they were doing. They cleaned it up really well, put a bandage on it that looked so good. When I got to the hospital, the triage nurse was like, "I got nothing." So anyway, they wrapped me up and then they go, "Listen, you really got to go to the hospital." And I said, "Okay." Fortunately, hospital's only 3 blocks away. So no big deal. So they finish up. And before I leave, I said, "Listen, you got to tell me your names so that the least I can do is do like a shout out to your general manager of the W Hotel." And they said, "Yeah." And one guy says, "My name is Jesus." And the other guy says, "My name is Angel." And I'm like stunned because I'm looking at him and I go, "Wait a minute. You mean you're telling this hillbilly that Jesus and Angel just helped me with this?" So my shout out to Jesus and Angel. Thank you guys. Or as we say down south, thank you.
All right.
That'll
Anything
hold
else?
them motherfuckers for another week.